Hello Stampers, Kelly Acheson at AStampAbove.com coming to you from Menasha, Wisconsin. Today's video is all about block stamping. We're going to grab our acrylic blocks and a spritzer, some ink pads or markers, and I'm going to show you how to make some very unique, pretty backgrounds to highlight the focal point on your card. This is all part of the Totally Techniques blog hop for the month of May. So when we get done with this video, there's going to be a link at the end that'll take you right to my blog post where you're going to scroll down and see several different thumbnails that you can click on and hop from blog to blog and see everybody else's creations. So lots of variety in this particular technique. We're going to flip the camera around and get started. We're going to start off right away with the technique. You're going to need an acrylic block or some type of non-porous surface that's small enough to handle, one of our Stampin' Spritzers, and some Fluid 100 watercolor paper. I've also got my silicone craft sheet here and some ink pads. Whoops, we're gonna just start with these two. I've got peach pie and lemon lolly. And of course you can create this technique with any color you choose. I've got a piece of 3 by 2 3/4 inch Fluid 100 watercolor paper. We're going to take our ink pads. I like to start with the lightest color first. And I also like to use the end where my ink pad is closer to the edge of my plastic case. This has a lot of plastic going on down here. This does not. And that just gives you a better area to ink with versus all of this going on. So I'm kind of tilting my ink pad a little bit. I am adding some ink to the edge of my acrylic block. And that was lemon lolly. This is peach pie. Now I'm just going to turn that around and add that ink. And you can go right up to the yellow. You can go over it a little bit. It doesn't really matter. We're going to spritz some water on it. And it's going to kind of make it merge together. I love the Stampin' Spritzers. You get 2 of these in a packet. And what I love about them most is a very fine mist that they leave. So I'm going to pick my block up. I'm going to keep my spritzer about 6-7 inches away. And I'm going to mist my block. And that looks like a good amount of water on there. Place my Fluid 100 paper down here, and now I'm going to try to center this on my layer. And I'm holding it there for just a little bit so that that water and color can absorb into the watercolor paper. And then lift it up, and it looks kind of streaky, a little goofy. As this dries, it kind of mellows out. Now you can see down here there's some white showing through from the watercolor paper. If you mist your block a little bit more, you're going to have that fill in a little bit better. So this tells me that I could have added a little bit more water to my block before I stamped with it. You can also take this and stamp a second generation of color. Let me grab another piece of watercolor paper. Here we have another one. You can add some more water, and this is just going to give you a lighter image. And again, just leaving it sit in place for a little bit, pick it up, and you can see where we've got less color on this one, but both of these are going to be just as good to use, and they're always very interesting. Every one is different. Now, if you would like to fill that color in a little bit, you could use one of our water painters, a paintbrush. You can simply spritz this with some more water, and you can see how that looks. And it may seem like, oh my gosh, Kelly, you've put way too much water on here. This is watercolor paper, and it is intended to absorb a lot of water. You can take a tissue and dab off some of that excess water if you want, or you can just let it dry. And I'm just going to set this one aside and let it dry. By the time we're done with our project, I think I'll be able to bring it back in. I'm wiping off my block with just a tissue. You could use a baby wipe. You could go rinse it in the sink, whatever works for you. Now I've already got one here that's dried, and you can see we've got the same thing going on here. This one is already dried, and this is the one that I'm going to make our card with so we can keep going. If you want to, you could hit this with a heat tool to dry it faster. I just like to set them aside and let them dry by themselves. Okay, let's make our card. So this layer is 2 3/4 by 3, and that's the Fluid 100 watercolor paper. I've got a card base here that is 4 1/4 by 11. I've scored it at 5 1/2. This is our basic white thick cardstock, which is perfect for card bases. It's a little bit more sturdy than basic white, which is a really nice surface to stamp on. And then I've got a piece of peach pie that is 3 3/4 by 5. Piece of basic black that is 3 7/8 by 5 1/8. We're going to run this through the embossing machine in the Pressed Flowers embossing folder. This is one of our brand new folders, and I really love this one. I like to place my cardstock in here. I want to get the most image on here, but you don't want to go beyond where that embossed images end. So you don't want to push that all the way into your folder. You want to keep it up from the bottom just a little bit. Run this through your machine, and then I'm bringing in that layer of peach pie that is all embossed. Isn't that pretty? Now we can go ahead and add this to our basic black layer. And I love my liquid glue. And when you emboss a layer, you want to make sure that you are adding that glue all the way around the edges, because the pressure from embossing will make the edges kind of buckle a little bit. And I want to make sure when I put them on my card front that they are laying down all the way. So I've got that glue all around the edges. And the other thing you can do is you can slide this a little bit to make sure that you've got it placed evenly on your second layer. Okay, here comes some of our large check black and vanilla ribbon. And I'm just going to cut a piece off and put it right across the bottom third of my card, or my layer. This isn't the card base. The white is the card base. So we're just getting this ready to put our pretty block stamping on. And then I think what I'll do is I will go ahead and add this. We're going to add just a single knot over here, which makes kind of a little faux bow. It's not a bow, which makes it a lot easier, right? I'm going to cut that fairly short and keep that way over at the side. Now you can slide this back and forth as you need to, and I love doing this technique with ribbon because it's quick and easy. We're going to do our stamping in here, and I'm going to bring in some Calypso Coral, some Memento black ink, and Granny Apple Green. These opened up here. I'm featuring the Blooming Phrases stamp set on this card today, and this is one of those really pretty accent sets that you can use on all kinds of different cards, but it's pretty much going to be the feature of my card today. So I'm going to grab the sentiment. This is going to be a thank you card, and of course you can see in here we've got 17 different images. Happy, thanks, birthday, celebrate, hello there, anniversary, just because, and thinking of you. And then all these little floral leaf elements to go along with these sentiments. My thanks. Oops, I got a little heavy-handed on my ink pad there. So I'm just going to wipe that off so I don't have any accidents. And I'm going to take my thanks and I'm going to stamp it right up here on the top with that Memento black ink. I'm cleaning off my stamp because we're going to use it for stems for our flowers. So I've got this little flower here is going to be in Calypso Coral. And I'm just going to stamp a few of these flowers on my layer here. Now this was Peach Pie, much lighter. Calypso Coral is a darker orange, and I wanted these flowers to really pop. Then we're going to take that thanks, and we're going to use the tail on the word with the Granny Apple Green. And I'm just going to come in here and add a stem. And then another little stem here. This set comes with a tiny little leaf. So we're going to come in and just add some little leaves on here, alternating them on that stem. One last thing I want to do to this before we're done is grab my black Stampin' Write marker, and I'm going to flick a little bit of black on here. And I just think that tones down that blank space and adds a lot of interest. So here's our block stamping technique layer. Let me move these. Oh, we're going to use a couple of these. Let's do our card base. We need to stamp a sentiment on there. So I've got the Sentimental Framing stamp set. And since we've got thanks on the front of our card, I'm going to go with I'm so grateful. In the Memento black ink. By the way, if you're new to me, this was an empty white craft ink pad. They come empty and you ink them yourself. And I just put Memento ink in there, and I really like the way that it stamps because it's a foam ink pad versus a hard fabric pad. So that's what I've got going on here, is like a homemade ink pad. I'm going to grab that flower again and just give this a little accent on the inside with that flower. And I think that's good. It's going to leave plenty of room for me to write. And we can add this right to our card front. I think I need to open up a new bottle of glue here pretty soon. I love how this card is pretty crisp and clean. There's not a lot of fuss going on. We're going to add some dimensionals to the back of our watercolor layer. And I wrote on here so I wouldn't forget what my colors were: Lemon Lolly and Peach Pie, not Petal Pink. That wasn't Petal Pink, it was Peach Pie. I've got a whole bunch of different color combinations I'm going to share with you when we get this card done, so stay tuned. You can see which one you like and maybe come up with some of your own or use some of the other colors that I have. Okay, here's our card. I'm going to grab our brushed brass butterflies. These are nice flat embellishments. I really like them. And they just add a little pop of bling to our technique layer. And here we go. Peach Pie and Lemon Lolly. Let me show you some of the others. I'm so grateful. Here is a Lemon Lolly card base, and I just switched the Peach Pie to the bottom and the Lemon Lolly to the top on this one. I've got another one here that is Summer Splash and Fresh Freesia. And then this is Fresh Freesia. So we've got on the inside, oh, this one says hello there. And so I just stamped some of these cute little flowers on the inside. Then we've got this one. We changed it up a little bit, put our ribbon on here vertically and added our square up at the top. And this is Summer Splash with the Fresh Freesia. Then I've got Lemon Lime Twist, and I used Peach Pie, Daffodil Delight, and Lemon Lime Twist on that layer. And one more to share with you, Pool Party. This is Pool Party down here with Petunia Pop at the top. And we've got a birthday card there. So we've got a hello there, several thanks, and a birthday card featuring the blooming phrases and the sentimental framing for the inside sentiments. I really love the font on this one, 13 different sentiments, and they're all fantastic. So we've got Fluid 100 watercolor paper. We've got a Stampin' Spritzer. It's nice to have the silicone craft sheet to be able to put your pieces on and spray them and do all the technique with. And of course, a clear acrylic block. If you would like to find out more details about any of the products that I've used today, you're going to find my blog link right up here. When you click on that, it's going to take you to my blog to this particular post. Scroll down until you see some little thumbnails that says hop along, and you can go see what all the other Totally Technique design team members have made with this block stamping technique today. One more thing I wanted to share with you. You can also do this technique with markers. So if you have Stampin' Write markers, alcohol markers will not work, but Stampin' Write markers definitely will work. And how you do that is you're going to choose however many colors you want. You're going to use the coloring end of your marker and just color your acrylic block. Turn that around and color this. I've got, I'll tell you these colors here in just a second. And then one more here. We're going to bring that craft sheet back in. We're going to spritz this with our spritzer. And again, a good amount of water. Here comes a piece of our Fluid 100. And you do the same thing. You stamp, hold it down. And look at that. So this will dry. And look at how I can let those that extra water kind of run down the paper. That's going to be a really unique look. Here's a couple that I did with the markers. This is Gorgeous Grape, Flirty Flamingo, and Pool Party, this one. And then this one is Petunia Pop, Darling Duckling, and Timid Tiger. So we've got that one and this one. And again, depending on how much water you put on your block, this one has a lot more water than this one did. And you can see that by the white showing through. You're going to get a unique look every single time. You can use bigger blocks. You can use smaller blocks. You can use these size of blocks and put like a block all the way down the edge of your card. The sky's the limit with this. It's so much fun and so different every time. Please make sure you click down here to subscribe to my YouTube channel. You don't want to miss anything we have coming out. There's lots of fun stuff that Stampin' Up! Has in store, and also I have in store for you. Click up here to head over to my blog to see what everybody else on the Totally Techniques design team made. And thank you so much for taking a little bit of time out of your day to spend with me. Bye-bye.